My 25 wife died 19 months ago. It was real hard on my the first few months, but finally started putting myself back out there. I met girlfriend, 23, 7 months ago. It was going pretty well and she moved into my apartment around 4-ish months ago. In hindsight we probably rushed this. My girlfriend is very overprotective and clingy and scared of me cheating as she's been hurt in the past. I let her have my phone password so she could ease her mind. She saw a photo of me and wife and asked who she was and I explained. She seemed to take it well but was a little bit awkward about it. Fast forward 3 days and I go to take a shower and leave my phone on charge in the bedroom. I come out to see my phone unlocked. Weird but I let it slide. Later in that day I go through my photos to upload a new profile picture to Facebook. All the photos of my wife and me and her together are gone without a trace. I check my Snapchat my eyes, only because I had a few in there along with intimate photos of us together. I knew it was my girlfriend. I confronted her about it and she started yelling. She said I need to get over it and get rid of all the reminders of my wife because she was here now. She also called me really creepy for having nude pictures of a dead girl. Granted I probably should have deleted those a long time ago, but I didn't want to because they were special to me, might be idiot on my part there. I was livid. I told her to get out. She stared at me in disbelief as I told her again. She packed some stuff and left. I went to my room and cried. I woke up to many missed calls and angry texts from her and her friends for calling me the idiot. This might not have been a big deal, but she permanently got rid of 95% of the pictures of my wife. I still have some printed like the wedding and some vacations, but I'm still missing a big chunk of them. I feel like she deleted a part of me as well. I've had to block multiple numbers, including my sister's. What the hell? I do miss her though and want to talk, but I'm confused. Am I in the wrong? Not the idiot. I'm so sorry you lost, not only your wife, but so many pictures of her. I get how your girlfriend feels. Living in the shadow of a spouse who has passed can be very difficult, but she took a permanent, irrevocable step as the only step. Instead of asking you to keep the pictures on a flash drive or make some other compromise where they were somewhere safe but weren't on your phone, your girlfriend made a choice for you that can be incredibly damaging and will likely mean more grieving. While kicking her out is also a pretty drastic step, it's understandable and at least undoable if you end up changing your mind. Whether or not you do should be entirely up to you. First of all, you don't need to delete photos of your late wife, even if she was nude in them. She was your wife, your partner. You're allowed to remember everything about her. It's not wrong for you to have those pictures. Sincerely. If someone permanently deleted images of someone that I loved, someone that I would never see again, I would go scorched earth on them. I am so profoundly sorry that she deleted those photos. I just can't imagine how badly this must hurt. I am so sorry that she betrayed you like this. Keep away from her. She's jealous, abusive, and controlling. You deserve so much better than someone as toxic as she is. Not the idiot. Everyone's the idiot here. It sounds like you started this relationship without being upfront about having been married before. You said that she asked you who this girl was on your phone, and this was after she moved in. It's insane to me that this girl would be living with you without knowing you were previously married. She should not be going through your phone and deleting your photos, but you should have been upfront with her about your previous life. As a side note, this sub is so quick to jump to one side or another without looking at the whole picture. It's unbelievable how many people are saying she's the only one that is screwed up here. My girlfriend Anne, 25, and I, 25, have been dating the past 5 years, since college. After graduation, we were semi-long distance, living close enough that we alternately visited almost every weekend. In 2020, Anne got a job in my city and we found a place and moved in together. Now's a good time to mention the security cameras in our house. Break-ins are unfortunately common where we live. We thus got some motion-activated cameras, one of which has a view of our kitchen to monitor the back door. The cameras only record when there's motion so they can retain footage for a very long time. Anne of course knows this. About a year ago, Anne started complaining I wasn't contributing equally to chores. I've been obsessive about chores my whole life. Growing up, not doing the dishes meant no video games for a week. When I lived with roommates, I was always the chore guru, making damn sure we all stuck to our chore wheel. Anne is just as fastidious about chores, so we just naturally alternated who did what. I'd just been brushing her remarks off, but over the last few months they've become much more aggressive. For example, I was vacuuming and Anne said, "Look at you finally cleaning up around here." I replied that we alternated vacuuming, to which she retorted, "No, you've vacuumed maybe twice since I moved in." Exchanges like this have been happening so frequently that I began to doubt my own recollection. Am I not as clean as I thought? Finally, she exploded at me last week. She said that having to stay home constantly over the past weeks exposed how little I do around the house and that she didn't move in just to be my maid. Questioning my own sanity, I spent a few hours going through the entire 1.5-year archive of security camera footage and tallied the exact number of times the kitchen cam caught each of us doing dishes. Our cleaning supplies, vacuum, mop, etc., are in the kitchen pantry, so I also tallied up how many times we grabbed cleaning stuff. To my vindication, the tally showed that we indeed split chores equally. She vacuumed and mopped 5 more times than I did. I did dishes 20 more times than she did. Given that we vacuum and mop at least once a week and do dishes at least every day, these are insignificant differences over the year and a half we've lived together. When I confronted Anne, she shrugged off her behavior as remembering things differently, but the real sin here was what I did, which she called an unforgivable violation of her privacy, akin to abusive stalking. She has broken up with me and is trying to move out, although obviously this is difficult due to current circumstances. I'm totally heartbroken. Anne was the love of my life and I can't believe she destroyed our relationship like this. To make matters worse, she told many of our friends, who are mostly siding with her. They've been texting me that what I did was creepy, abusive, controlling, invasive, etc. I'm at a loss. I'm beginning to think I'm the one who's off base here. Not the idiot, abusive and controlling. Because you counted how many times she mopped or did the dishes. She was the one being abusive and just upset you outed her, and I wouldn't be surprised if she emotionally manipulated her friends to side with her just like she emotionally manipulated you. If Anne wasn't aware the cameras were there, sure, I could see her having a point. But if you know you're being recorded, you know the person you're living with has access to those recordings, well, it may be out of the ordinary, it's certainly not idiot behavior for your partner to actually go over said recordings. My guess is this relationship was on the rocks, and this is all Anne needed to justify leaving. To me it looks like she was already looking for a way out, and she thought she could pin it in you not helping around the house, which is a pretty common complaint against male partners. She was trying to find a reason to get mad at you, possibly make you get mad at her, and have that be a legitimate reason for one of you to end the relationship. Easier to end a relationship with someone you're mad at. It's a super immature, but I would say decently common, tactic for someone who wants out of an otherwise fine relationship to initiate a breakup. My 37 husband, 40, has been working at his company for 10 years as a maintenance supervisor. About a year ago they hired Tabitha to work in their accounting department. Since the day she first started working there, she has had an infatuation with my husband that is now becoming unprofessional and inappropriate. This started when the heat went out in her office. My husband's job as supervisor is to assign tasks to his employees, however, she is never satisfied with the work they do, even though he says that they do great work, so she demands he work on her office. She constantly calls him on his work phone for mundane things, carpet is loose in a corner, loose screw on her coat hook, and he goes and fixes them without issue. Last year when we went to the company Christmas party, pre-plague times, she was very flirty with him, constantly grabbed his hand. When he introduced us, she just grinned at me and said, "Look, there's Peter," and grabbed his hand and walked away. When we sat at the table she damn near pushed me out of my seat to sit next to him, and my husband told her to get up, that it was my seat. She walked off in a huff, and when she saw me in the restroom she shoved past me. I told my husband what happened, and he said it was fine, that she was harmless. I told him that she was not fine and that she clearly had feelings for him and she was acting like a jealous girlfriend. The past few weeks this has ramped up to an astonishing level of inappropriate. She recently moved into a new house and my husband and some of the other guys from work helped her move and put things together. He gave her his personal cell phone number and she has been calling and texting non-stop about things she needs help with. Multiple times a day at all hours of the day and night she will call and text him for help. Last night at 2 a.m. she called about her heat not working right. My husband said he would go over and look at it after work. I broke down. I told him he was not going, that she could call a technician like everyone else, and that he is not a personal maintenance man. I told him very clearly that she has feelings for him and he is so dense he can't see it. I told him that, while it is nice to help on occasion, she calls him all the time asking for help with things that she can do on her own, move boxes and furniture, or pay to have a repair person come and fix. I told him that once he gave out his personal phone number, that he crossed a line, and I am not comfortable with it. He said that this will most likely be an easy fix and it won't take long, so I cried and told him that he can either to be married to me or married to her, but I wasn't going to be the third wheel in my own marriage. He says he does not have feelings for her and that I am overreacting to him just wanting to help a friend. I feel otherwise. Am I the idiot? You're not the idiot. Hubs, on the other hand, is a grade 8 dyed-in-the-wool idiot. Any man who invalidates his wife's concerns over behavior this blatant is either banging side chick or is at bare minimum enjoying the attention, but doesn't want to admit he's enjoying it. Either way, you're in the right here, and if he doesn't willingly shove this woman off, you will have some decision making to do. Not the idiot. It doesn't matter that he doesn't have feelings for her, she does for him, and by her behavior it's clear. She was blatantly okay with disrespecting you in front of him at a Christmas party. She eventually escalates, as she's already been doing, since he won't set boundaries with her. You're not being crazy and he should respect you as his wife. You don't feel comfortable with it and that should be the end of it, and he should respect that. My blood pressure spiked reading this. Nope, I would have already said something to her and her boss. I hate women like this. Always trying to get men that are taken. It's probably a game to her. She has issues for sure. Not the idiot. Don't even consider it an option. She's the idiot and your husband is second. Men are dumb but they aren't blind. He sees what's happening. He knows going to her home by himself is asking for trouble. Let me have her number, I'm livid. My parents got divorced when I was 16 and my brother was 9. The divorce was a result of my father cheating on my mother and I caught him in the act. He begged me not to tell my brother during the divorce, and I didn't because I didn't want to damage his relationship with our father like mine was already damaged. My mother never told him either. This was 7 years ago. My brother absolutely idolizes my father. My mother has a serious boyfriend now, and my father told my brother that he heard a rumor that my mother was cheating on her boyfriend. I have no idea if it's true, but my brother called me and was screaming mad. He said he was going to refuse to go to her house ever again or speak to her. I was stunned by the intensity of his reaction, but I felt like my father was far out of line. I reached out to him and he refused to discuss it, telling me to leave the past in the past. I tried to tell him to tell my brother the truth, but he wouldn't even listen. My mother denies cheating on her boyfriend, but still will not tell my brother about the reason she and my father divorced. I was so fed up with my father for driving this wedge between my mother and brother, who refuses to even speak to my mother. I just called my brother and told him the truth. He hung up on me, and my father called me screaming that I had ruined his relationship with my brother and calling me a vindictive idiot. Am I the idiot for telling my brother? Not the idiot. There was no winning for anyone here. Your dad screwed up his free pass to have a good relationship with your brother, one he did not deserve, by butting his nose into your mom's business. You seem to have a good head on your shoulders. I am sure it hurt to have your father speak to you like that, and I can only imagine how upset your mom and brother are. Hope it gets better sooner rather than later. It seems like the dad has managed to convince his ex-wife and daughter that women shouldn't embarrass men, such that even the mom wouldn't reveal it. That's pretty atrocious, and I'm glad OP has revealed it to her brother. Not the idiot. Why do people insist on trying to enlist others, especially their own children, to keep these type of secrets? It's just so damn damaging when they come out years later. And they always come out. You should probably have filled him in sooner, but it is what it is. Especially since your father is trying to pin the cheater label on your mom with no proof. Give your brother some time. He will calm down. Don't give your father the time of day. Not the idiot. You were trying to salvage the relationship between your brother and mother, while your father was actively trying to sabotage it. I doubt your brother would have had that strong of a reaction to cheating, especially since your mother's boyfriend isn't his father, if your father wasn't egging him on. It's clear everyone was enabling your father's crappy behavior. My only question is how you told your brother. Was it a calm, "You're being so hard on mom," when dad cheated on mom back in the day, or "You're being such an idiot to mom," some rude comment from your brother about being a nasty name? Well, dad cheated on mom. I saw it, and that's why they got divorced. Dad's as much of a nasty name. I have a giant family. My mom and my dad both have a lot of siblings, and they're also both the youngest in their families. This means I'm nearly the youngest of over 20 cousins. We all live close, so we throw gigantic family get-togethers. All the time. My grandparents own a pretty big ranch just outside of town. They're not rich by any means, but land is cheap out here and they've owned the property for a long time. Because these gatherings sometimes attract upwards of 40 people, their ranch has been the venue of choice for as long as I can remember. My uncles are all stereotypically masculine dudes, as are a lot of my older cousins, so our rendezvous generally revolve around sports, grilling, and gambling. Gambling isn't exactly my cup of tea, but I participate for the sake of being social. I usually lose a fair bit of money because I don't play cards or know sports teams as well as everybody else. It's gotten to the point where it's become a reoccurring joke amongst family members. Well, this time around we have an especially large gathering. So large that it's determined there's too many people to coordinate our typical gambling games. To make things simpler, my aunt comes up with an idea. She fills a jar full of beans and places it high up on the mantle. She tells us it's $20 a guess, and whoever guesses closest to the number of beans inside gets to take home all the money. For whatever reason, this new form of betting got everyone in an especially adversarial spirit. Almost all of the adults participated, and many even made multiple guesses to increase their odds. Remember how I'm typically ignorant when it comes to gambling? Well, this time I was in my element. I could tell the jar was a typical 64 ounces mason jar, which a quick Google search told me was 116 cubic inches in volume. I also found that a bean was about 0.15 cubic inches. Divide the jar by the beans, and I got 773. Then I assumed 20% of it was air, which left me with 619 beans. To be safe, I made two bets, one for 610 and the other for 630. As I'm making my bet, people are giving me crap like it'd be easier if you just gave it directly to me and all the other usual bull busting, but I just smile and say nothing. Some can tell something's up and continue to give me grief for the rest of the night. After probably 40 minutes of interrupted counting, my aunt informed everyone that not only had I won, but both of my guesses were closer than anybody else's. At first everybody was super happy for me, laughing about how lucky I am. One of the suspicious cousins from earlier asked how I did it, so I told everyone my strategy. Immediately I could see people's faces start to sour. One of my uncles said that's bullcrap and left the room. It ended up being nearly $1,100. My parents tell me that I should offer to return it because I didn't earn it fairly. I argue that I had all the same information as everybody else. Am I the idiot for keeping the money? Not the idiot. This is exactly how you'd go about this. It's not your fault no one else in the family used math. They all came up with answers somehow some way. They just came to their conclusions with different formulas that didn't pan out. And of course they're going to be sour, they didn't win, and they were just waiting for you to reveal how you guessed your answers, so they could be upset with you. OP. Not the idiot, but in retrospect, revealing how you came to your conclusion wasn't the smartest thing you could have done. Keep the money and maybe next time everyone sees you, they won't give you so much crap for being bad at gambling. Not the idiot. When people bet, but it's normal to take an educated guess. It's only cheating if you had insider information. For example, if someone had told you they bought 2 pounds of beans and they all fit inside. You also just guessed that there was 20% air in between the beans. If it was actually 30% air, you probably would have lost the bet.